when I think of am I too much or am I not enough, I think of my identity. Like, who does God say that I am? I think it's really hard in this world because you have so many voices and different opinions telling you who to be, what to do. And it's so hard because then the game of comparison comes in.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I want to be like that. You know, I could compare myself to you guys and be like, well, I'm not where they are, but God didn't put me in that position. God hasn't given me the gifts and the talents and the skills that you have, because that's not who I'm called to be. I'm called to do what He's called me to be. And
Hi, friends, and welcome to the Firebrand Show. My name is Billy.
And I'm Ashley.
And we are excited for you to join us today. Let's get started.
I'm excited for today because we have somebody that we hang out with every day.
Yep.
Because she lives with us and she's like our oldest child, not child, because you're not a child. But we have Analisa Williams in the house. Finally. Yes, I'm very excited. We've tried filming this a few times, but well, you know, we have kids, so I'm also flexible. So yeah. Okay, before we start, I have two things.
Okay.
First, I want to state something obvious, not obvious. So I haven't been an energy drinker. But it is the season
Pay
of
attention, those that are watching.
This is Billy's favorite season.
This is a crucial moment in the season. You want to know what's happening right now.
Yeah. When the burr months come around, Alani releases a specific energy drink that tastes like my childhood. It's like the caramel pop lollipops. And so the only time I'll drink an energy drink is when it comes out. So I just wanted to make a statement because it's going to be sitting here and you're going to see it. Don't go into the comment section and say, oh my gosh, she lied. She drinks energy drinks. I didn't lie. I just don't drink them all year round. I only drink one kind, one flavor, and only for the burr months because that's the only time they're here. So I just want to state the obvious.
And when you say burr months, you obviously mean September, October, November, December.
And we're in those months.
Yes,
we're
absolutely.
in those months. So now my question for Analisa.
Hold on, before you ask her.
It leads to my question.
Before you ask her a question, I just want to make my statement.
Okay, make your statement.
Because while you have your burr months where you drink your energy drinks, you will never catch me drinking coffee.
I know, it's actually really sad.
I don't drink coffee.
I feel like one day you might.
Nope.
Okay. Analisa has lived with us now. She's lived with us now for a bit. And yeah, Analisa, are you a coffee drinker or are you an energy drink drinker? Since living in our house, what do you feel like you're drinking more of?
Yes.
I think neither, actually. I think I drink more matcha than coffee.
You do.
That is true.
Or energy drinks. I think it depends on the time of day. If it's like a Sunday and we're running, I'm not going to drink a coffee because I'm singing at night.
Yeah.
So it's going to kill my voice.
Yeah.
So I drink an energy drink. But I'm like you. I don't like most flavors. So Alani, that flavor is...
It's so good.
It tastes like the what are those green lollipops with the
caramel on top?
on the outside?
Yep.
It reminds me of Halloween. So
And it reminds me of my
I would say those.
childhood.
Yeah.
My childhood. I used to,
Okay.
like as an adult, I don't
I
just
ate
buy a
Mexican
bag.
candy, so I didn't
I
have
ate
those.
Mexican candy.
I got those from friends at school. 'Cause
Yeah,
we didn't have them.
yeah.
Yeah. It
That's
just
funny.
depends on the day, I think.
Yeah. I would say you definitely drink more matcha. You have expanded your coffee palette.
Yes, I'm trying.
Yeah. And you've expanded your energy drink palette
Yeah.
because you now drink this too.
Yeah.
I'm just such a good influence in your life. Okay, I do have one question for you before we get into today's
So
topic.
nervous. Okay.
Who's your favorite Spriggs kid?
Oh, that's really
now
hard.
You have to choose.
It depends on the day, though.
Every
Like
good
today,
parent's answer.
Today was Lucy. Or no, sorry. Yesterday was Lucy because I was out with friends and I was all dressed up. I felt so cute. And then Lucy sends me a text saying, you all look so beautiful. And I don't have a boyfriend, so
like-
I was like, I'll take it.
You're like, that's the best compliment from any 5-year-old I could ever get.
100%. But some days, it just depends. Like, if one of them's throwing a tantrum, then it's not that good.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
another kid. When you guys are out of town, it's probably Liam because he helps the most.
Yeah.
When you guys are home, it's Lucy because she just wants to be with me and
Yeah.
nobody else.
She's your bestie.
So I feel so tentative, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite, but it's Lucy.
Okay, yeah. Hey, it's there forever. This lives forever. This doesn't go away when she's
I'll
16.
just never
she's
show
gonna
the
be
kids
like,
this episode.
We'll just guard them from it. That's so funny. Well, we are going to get into today's topic.
Yeah.
And we're really excited for it. So let's do it. All right. Well, we're going to get into the topic. But before we do,
Yes.
we kind of breezed over introducing you because I just needed to get to the juicy questions. I just needed to. It was important. Tell us a little about you.
Yeah, my name's Analisa. I have been in Vegas for about a year now. I actually met Billy and Ashley when I was in ministry school. Actually met their kids first, not them, which is super cool.
Which is why Liam is your favorite, because he's who you met
it's really
first.
cool because I've grown up with all of them, but
Yeah.
I met Liam first. And as they get older, I feel like my relationship with each one of them transitions. So
Yeah.
started with Liam, and then now it's Lucy because she's at the age that I met Liam at.
Yeah.
And then when Ezra gets 5, I'm hoping that our relationship will be like that.
Yeah,
'Cause
we
right
all
now he's
hope
obsessed
that.
with Billy. So
Yeah. No one but Billy at
Yeah.
home.
That's it.
Yeah. And for context, Annalisa lives with us. She's a young adult. She helps us out with ministry. She works full time. She hustles on the side with graphic design and all the fun things. And so, yeah, she's been a blessing. She's been such a blessing. But we are going to talk about too much or not enough is like kind of the question statement. And the reason we want to talk about this is because I think everybody struggles on one end of the stick or sometimes with both. And this concept of feeling like you're too much or feeling like you're not enough, right? Like I grew up feeling like I was too much. I'm an Enneagram 8. My personality is very loud, very opinionated, very direct, and that can come off as too much. People are like, gosh, you're so direct. Gosh, you're so loud. Like, yes, I know. Thank you. The way the Lord made me, okay? But yeah, and then there's the other side of the
which is
spectrum,
me.
which is you. And
Obviously.
so
Obviously, it's tracked.
they do.
Um,
We balance each other well.
Yeah, for me, I felt growing up like I was not enough. So for me, following a sister who was like a genius or is a genius basically,
It is a genius. Yeah.
I always felt like what I did wasn't enough. It never amounted to what she did.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm an introvert, I'm quiet, so it's always like I never brought enough to the table so always feeling like what I did just wasn't enough. And so that was a struggle for me, constantly feeling like I was trying to please people even though I never felt like I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was, I feel like I'm offending people or people don't like me because I'm too much to be around. And so, all right, we're on those side of the spectrums. But I will say, like, I don't know about you, but like as a female, I struggle with both sides, but I struggle more so with feeling like I'm too much, right? But yeah, what about you when you hear that?
Yeah, I think at different phases in my life, I felt like both, or more than one at another time. But right now, I would probably say I struggle more with not feeling like feeling I'm too much all the time. I'm like you. I'm very loud. Very
Billy loves
very,
living
very
very loud.
opinionated.
Yeah.
I'm very vocal about how I
And
feel.
our daughter is too. Lucy is too.
Yeah.
So Liam is too. So
Yeah.
Billy's
Yeah.
just surrounded by it.
Yeah, but it's
Yep.
hard sometimes. I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm too loud and I don't want people to feel like I'm belittling them or kind of like overpowering them because I'm super vocal. But I think it's just like the way that God's made me to be, to
Yeah.
stand out and be bold
Yeah.
for people like Billy that don't necessarily
Yeah.
need to be the loudest room.
Yeah,
Be the loudest in the room
Yeah.
at times. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's put so beautifully. Like, it is how God made us. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's always the best thing. But there is a time and a place to be too much, if you will. And it's not too much, right? But there's a time and a place for it. And I think that as you get older, kind of like how you said, like you go through the seasons and it changes, I think you just evolve and figure out the time and the place. Like you just figure it out and you're like, I know that right now I need to speak up for this, or I know that I need to just sit back on this. And what the enemy wants you to believe is that it is not enough and too much, but really it's you figuring out your God-given identity and what he's created, how he's created you and how he wants you to utilize that in the world. And so really cool that you like even said that, because that's where I want to go in a minute. But I want to start out with a scripture that I think is just a really good way of like setting the tone for kind of what we're talking about with like, well, this is how God created me. And it's Psalms 139, 13 through 14. You might know it, but it says, you made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it. Another translation says, for you created my inmost being. You created my inmost being. And what I love about this is create means that this was on purpose. Like God didn't just make me, he created me, which means it was with purpose, it was with intention. And that's when you think about that and you think about that in relationship to feeling like you're too much or you're not enough, there's almost like a peace
100%.
that you feel, you know?
Yeah.
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 Like a peace you feel.
Yeah. And like, I like to think, like, I think about all the things that God created, mostly with humans and people. Like, if just one little thing was different within us, which speaks to the perfection that we essentially are in God's image, one little thing was wrong, like, we would not exist as we are.
As we are, yeah.
Yeah, and so, like, just down to, like, the cells and who we are inside, like, speaks to just the volumes of the intricacy that God used when he created us.
Which speaks to the second half of that, of like my inmost being.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't just create our physical selves.
Yeah.
Like he created our emotions. He created our thoughts. He created our soul and our spirit. So if he created us and knows and created the deepest parts of us, then we're never too much and we're always enough.
Yeah.
Which is so peaceful to rest in. It's so peaceful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I think of, am I too much or am I not enough? I think of my identity. Like, who does God say that I am? I think it's really hard in this world because you have so many voices and different opinions telling you who to be, what to do. And it's so hard because then the game of comparison comes in.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I want to be like that. I could compare myself to you guys and be like, well, I'm not where they are, but God didn't put me in that position. God hasn't given me the gifts and the talents and the skills that you have, because that's not who I'm called to be. I'm called to do what he's called me to be. And that's, I think of like who I am as a person and like leading worship. If I was super quiet and introverted, I wouldn't be able to lead people the way that I do, and to be able to command a room and be like, listen, we're going to go to the throne room together.
Yeah.
And I just think of like, if one part of me was like, I'm not good enough, or I'm too loud, or I wouldn't be able to do that and be able to be who God called me and created me to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. Like if you believed those lies, we would scale back. We would shrink in. We wouldn't actually live out our full purpose and identity. And we have conversations on this show all the time about identity. And I just love that everything we talk about on this show, every single thing that we talk about, it points back to how God created you to be, who he created you to be, what he created you, your purpose, like all of it points back to that. And so every question we ever answer on this show will always point back to who he created you to be, because that's it. Like that's Genesis.
Yeah.
Like that's the start of creation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, when it comes to thinking you're too much or not enough, you talked about comparison. That's like the quickest way the enemy can get in our minds to convince us that we are too much or not enough when we see someone else that is thriving in who they are, or has maybe more than we do, or has
doing
just
things we want.
doing things that we want. And comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so a lot of times we aren't joyful, we aren't happy with the way God created us, because we're comparing our lives to everyone around us.
Yeah.
And so we feel like we have to fill a void that was never there to begin with.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about comparison for a second, because I'm pretty sure we all probably would answer this question differently. Like, how do you stop comparing yourself to others? Like, what are ways that you stop comparing? I would say out of the three of us, you're probably the most confident in. I feel like we're just going to listen to your advice on this one.
And I still have my own issues that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know if this is the first or second.
I don't know. This is a big deal right here.
But
we're just airing out some really good stuff today.
We're just bringing new stuff.
Energy drinks. And
I'm not wearing a hat. Obviously, I'm confident in the way that I'm created, and I know that, just because my hair is falling out doesn't mean that I can't celebrate someone else that does have wonderful hair. And so it's being okay and celebrating more than looking down on. And so a lot of times we look at other people and we see what they have, and because we don't have it, we push it down instead of pushing them up in celebrating them for the way that God created them. And so when it comes to comparison, like that was something I did struggle with when I was younger, comparing myself to others, constantly feeling like I'm not enough because everyone else is, further ahead in life, or just given things that I just never could get. And so over the years, though, just being confident in who God created you to be, but being okay celebrating everyone else around you.
Yeah.
Obviously,
That's really good.
I'm pretty sure we've discussed this, but I am super competitive when it comes to anything in life.
You like that side eye
Super-
being
Yeah.
We can't
Super
play Catan in
competitive.
our house half the time.
I do pride myself on being good at most
At
things that I
most,
do.
Anything you pick up,
But-
you can
Keyword
do.
pride. Keyword pride.
Yes.
He's like, yes, I know, I'm working on it.
But with that, a lot of times,
Yeah.
because of that, because of our competitive nature as humans, because of just the desire to want to do our best and present our best, we tend to run over people and allow that competitiveness
Yeah.
to get in the way of us celebrating others
Yeah, that's
in their
good.
wins and in the way that God created us to celebrate. And so,
That's good.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I would say.
Yeah, that's a good answer. We can celebrate better, huh?
Yeah.
Analisa?
That's great. Yeah.
I'm like sitting here, I'm like, man, I don't celebrate well. Thanks a lot,
I'm trying
Billy.
to think. Yeah. Yeah.
What
I think
about
for
for you?
me, it would be, I think something God's been challenging me lately with is being content, like where I am right now, because this isn't where I'm always going to be. I think for me, like if I'm being honest, I graduated or left ministry school and I was like, what's next? Like,
Yeah.
I see all these people like in ministry roles or like doing these big things. To me, it was like big, and I compared myself. I was like,
Yeah.
well, is my calling not big enough? Am I not good enough? Am I, obviously the comparison game comes into
Absolutely.
play, and it's so bad, and it's such a cycle. But I think God's been challenging me, like, be content where you are right now.
Yep.
But get ready and expectant for what's to come, because this isn't gonna be my season forever. This won't be what I'm not always gonna be working at 9 to 5.
Yeah, for sure.
Like at a job I don't enjoy, or
Yeah.
we're not always going to be bumping in every day. Like
Yeah.
that's just not
Yeah.
what God has in store for us. And I think for me, it's just clinging to hope, knowing that God has promised me more. God has promised me things and dreams, and they may be different than everybody else's, but like
Yeah.
they're going to come in His timing. So just being content
Yep.
and comfortable here now,
Yeah.
being present now,
Yep.
instead of keeping my eyes looking forward, and I can't enjoy what God's put in front of me now.
Yeah,
and bless
now.
me with now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because when you're comparing, you're constantly looking ahead. Like, why don't I have that yet? And it's like, then you're like, I'm just dreaming about the day that you maybe will have it and how it'll look for your life. And you're missing out on like the now. And that's such a good way of saying that, because we all get caught up in that. Like, it doesn't matter what age you are. If you're a teenager and you're about to graduate, you're looking ahead to the next season, or you just entered high school and you're like, man, college is 4 years away. I'm already dreaming. Well, what about the 4 years you have to make an impact on your school campus? Like, you could miss that whole thing. And so the comparison, it robs your joy, but it also robs you of the now. Like, it takes away what God is trying to do now. And you said something that was really good. Like, you won't be here forever. And that's not a negative. That's actually a positive, that we won't be here forever. And so if we're not watering where we're at right now, well, exactly who God created us to be, not comparing to the left, right, front, back, but like we are planted exactly where God has us, and we are nurturing that really well. There's so much you can do in that. And if we are so focused on everybody else or so focused on the future, we forget about that.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful place to be, because you're never going to be there again. This is the only time. Recently I was listening to a podcast. It was a parenting one. And this mom said, you're never going to get that bedtime back. And I felt so convicted, because I struggle at bedtimes. I'm like, I need you guys to go to bed. I have a million things I got to get done. I got to clean the house. Like, it is so hard for me. But she said that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get this bedtime back. I'm never going to get this one bedtime back. You're never going to get that day back. You're never going to get that moment back, standing in, your high school hallways, embracing the friendships you have, not comparing to the person left or right.
yeah.
Being able to be used by God right where you are. Like, you're never going to get that back. So don't waste your time comparing. Yeah. But I, as far as like what I do, I don't think I have a thing. Like, I don't think I have a thing that takes me out of the comparison. I think that as I've gotten older, I'm similar to like what you're saying and what you're saying together, of like, I've become confident and content with where I'm at, that I don't need to seek it out. Now, sure, absolutely, social media does a really good job of putting people in front of me that I would love to be in ministry as a mom,
Or
as
be
a
friends
woman,
with.
or be friends with,
Yeah.
for crying out loud. But like, I just find that I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. I'm right where God has me, and I'm exactly who He created me to be. I'm not too much, and I'm just enough.
Yep.
Like, I'm okay. And that's the best place that I can be in. And yeah, I read a devotional once that actually was titled "Too Much." I am too much. I am not enough. And it was all about like how to break that mindset. And like, it was a really cool book. It's by Jess Connolly. It's a devotional. It's really good. If you want to grab it, you should. But it changed my mindset to exactly what you guys are talking about, where it's like, I'm not going to focus on what's next. I'm going to be content with being here, and I'm not going to focus on who's to my left or right. Like, I'm okay with who God created me to be. And if it's too much sometimes for people, sorry. If I feel like I'm not enough, I need to pump myself up because I'm created exactly how God created me to be.
Yeah,
you know?
that's well
So,
said.
Yeah. And you look at the characters of people in the Bible, like the stories that God used, the people, they didn't seek out to be, you know, who the way that he used them. It wasn't them trying to, you know, say that I'm the best, use me.
That's good.
It was God just seeing their heart and their faithfulness and seeing more beyond what we kind of see in our physical, in the comparison that we use, and seeking that platform that God used people that weren't seekers. And a lot of times when it comes to life, we want to make ourselves the main character of the story, but it's all about Jesus. And so when we do that, that's when we start to compare and see other people as the main character or the hero when we want to be that, but it's not about us. And you know, I think of whenever David was anointed when he was 15 years old, all his brothers lined up and they were ready. They wanted the prophet came and they're like, yeah, it's going to be me. And he went through all of them. And because God knew that they weren't ready because they were seeking something that wasn't for them.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we seek or we compare something that isn't for us.
Yeah.
And we have to be okay with what God provides for us and be good stewards of the resources, the time, the talent that we have. And so
That's great. That's really
don't
good.
seek something that's not for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Jeez.
that's a bomb there, Billy. Don't seek something that's not for you. That's so good.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good way to just round out that conversation.
Yeah.
So well done on that one. Don't seek something out that's not for you. That's good. Thank you for having a conversation with us.
Yes.
You didn't cry.
No. There's like little ones just sitting in the corner.
We'll have conversations with Analisa in the house and her and Billy together.
Guys, I'm so emotional.
It's okay.
I'm so emotional.
It's okay. You did so good. And
Why did you say something?
I had to, because you were like, I'm going to cry. I know I am. And you didn't.
No,
Why
I
are you
didn't.
crying? Is it because I said something?
It's only because you said something.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But thank you for being with us.
Yes.
Thanks for hanging out. And we do believe in you. We fully believe in you. We believe in the call that God has on your life. And you are enough for what he has for you. Like now, in this season where you're planted, I know it's a hard season, but it is exactly what you need to set you up for the future. So
Amen. Yeah.
stay content. Stay content. And we hope you were encouraged today. We're going to have some fun.
Yes.
And we've switched sides of the set for this one because we've brought in Fiove Pena for this one.
What's up?
We're going to have a little fun. We're basically going to play Would You Rather.
Oh, okay.
But it's going to be like Gen Z versus millennial stuff. Now, you guys are Gen Z and we're millennial. And so basically, but the thing about the two of you is you're kind of on the...
She's
okay?
saying you're an old
You're
Gen
an
Z.
old
Yeah,
Gen Z and
basically.
you're,
You're a
a young...
younger Gen Z.
So
Guys,
I'm-
I don't even know the cap because I feel like the freshmen at my school right now are alpha. I'm gonna be so
Close.
I don't even
I
know.
think
Alpha is like 10, 11. Like
Okay.
almost 12 now. I forget, somewhere around that
somewhere
age.
around that age somewhere. I
So
don't
like
know.
Alpha's about to be... Alpha's like middle school.
I don't
I
think
hear
the
you.
freshmen at my school deserve the
Well-
title of Gen Z. But
I mean, to their defense, every like gap generation is
Like the bridge?
the bridge generation. Yeah, the bridgers, if you will. They're not. They
They
kind
can
of
go
take
either
on
way,
both.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like I'm. Never mind. I'm not even gonna give my age. Okay,
Okay.
here we go. All right, Gen Z versus millennial. All right, here we go.
All right. First question.
First question. Would you rather binge watch an entire season of a TV show in one sitting, or watch it week by week?
In a sitting. Oh my gosh.
well, I'd rather
100%.
watch like one every day. That's the type
Nope.
of
No, that's
okay.
not the
In one
option.
sitting. In one sitting. In
One
one sitting.
sitting.
Okay.
Okay.
We grew up where you had to record or watch it, and you had to wait for the next week. Let me tell
But
you,
if you had an option,
I would go back and I do that now. I watch Survivor and Dancing with the Stars, and those air
better.
weekly.
Okay, respectfully.
Chicago Med, Chicago PD. We
But
love
if
it.
Listen,
if you had an option, if they all came out all at once, would you watch them all at
No,
once?
I love the fact that we get to wait.
it builds anticipation.
Yeah, I know
suspense.
you're lying.
I'm not lying.
You can't lie on a Christian television show.
I'm
I live with you.
I
Something
do
to look
binge, but
forward
how many?
to.
Yes, it does. It gives you something to look forward to. How many shows do I have recording on our Hulu at home?
Well, you have like 12 that you watch at
Exactly,
one time.
and those come out every
You can't
week.
just binge them.
Yeah, but those come out every week. That I would
Okay,
be the second half.
respectfully, it was the same until I was 10 years old. So I grew up in that for a little bit, okay?
All right, here we go.
All
Here
right,
we go.
next one. Would you rather only use TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram.
For a day. Hold on. For a day. You about freaked out, Miss Gen Zer.
No, let's just put it out there.
Okay, permanently.
Instagram.
One goes away. You can only use one of them.
I have deleted TikTok, and I haven't had it deleted since February, and it's been the best thing ever. And TikTok.
Is this you trying to convince all the Gen
TikTok
Zers
Reels?
watching to
TikTok Reels are the best thing ever.
Or Instagram
Everybody.
Reels.
Instagram.
Instagram Reels?
Oh, guys, Reels. Just Reels. I love Reels. It's the only thing that I watch. It keeps me. I love Instagram. I think Instagram is best.
All right,
I'm not even going to answer. Nope, no answer needed.
You're not answering.
Neither.
Next question.
Move on. Okay, she's like, I don't want to go follow up that. All right, we're gonna do one more because we're running out of time. But would you rather work a job with flexible hours, lower pay, or a traditional 9 to 5 with higher pay?
Option A, because that is what I am right now.
Flex with a lower pay. Or
Yeah, because listen, I got two
I love that
jobs.
you both get so
Sorry. It feels like ASMR. I'm like, all right, guys.
Billy doesn't
I'm
want an
just kidding.
ASMR episode.
No, because that's what I do right now. Well, it's not like low pay. Like I'm not like
Yeah.
scraping pennies, but like
Yeah.
I have a second job, but
Yeah.
I get to flex my hours for my first job. It's so nice because
Yeah.
things happen. People get sick. I get sick a lot. So,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with option A.
9 to 5.
Interesting. I did
Really?
not expect that from you, Fiove.
No, once I get out of high school, trust I will be in a 9 to 5.
She says that now, but she works 4-hour shifts, so like she doesn't
okay.
know.
I'll work.
Could you stand and be a host
Yes.
for 8 hours?
Yes, I could.
10 hours?
You think?
I think I could. Yeah.
okay.
I'm confident in my.
Well, when's this
Well,
airing?
well,
no.
We'll check back in season 3.
We're going to check back in season
Well,
3.
shoot, I was trying to get.
No, that's good.
I was trying to get a 10 to 6 because I get off of school at 10. And so
Yeah, you get out of school at 10. Yeah, you could do a 10 to 6. Okay.
Yeah.
I see you.
I was trying to.
Good for you, though. You're
was
like,
trying
I'd
to.
rather do a 9 to 5 with better hours.
You make
better
me
pay.
look bad over here.
Yeah, she doesn't make you look bad. You
Well-
have the answer that we have too, so
Okay,
don't
good.
worry.
Okay, good.
I just think it's interesting. That question specifically is so interesting because I think career has changed so much from Gen Z to millennial, like millennial Gen Z. And
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where it goes for Alpha because I almost feel like they're going to come back to what you're saying. I feel like Gen Alpha is going to be like, give me the 9 to 5 with the good pay.
Well,
You know?
I would love some good pay, but I want to be in ministry. So I'll probably have the lower pay with
Free tweet.
flexible
Free
hours.
tweet, yeah.
She's like, realistically.
Welcome.
Well, thanks for playing the game, guys.
No
Always.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us today. We will see you in our next episode.